Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we have the first Alliance War video season, what is it, 23 now? Well, basically the new season that just started, and first war fell nicely onto basically Christmas. So both alliances obviously have hectic schedules, neither alliance will play to their fullest potential, but this time ASR is taking up for Loki. So that's a very interesting war, obviously, from the get-go. And this time we're actually up against Protect Global Node. I've somewhat seen it increasingly more and more, but shouldn't be too bad. And I actually like seeing Protect Global because that just means Quake can come out to play much easier. And I didn't do any of my fights in the first evening because I was celebrating. I basically was spending time with family and I didn't want to kind of like rush into this, but I did actually do even a bigger mistake, and I did all of these fights very early on the day after. And at that point I hadn't even properly kind of woken up, because the plan was to wake up a bit early, do these fights, and then just have rest of the day at peace and be able to spend it with my girlfriend. Had absolutely wonderful, peaceful Christmas. We went for some walks, we went to feed some birds and cooked a bunch, and I enjoyed it a lot. And not playing or paying attention to MCOC was one of the major things to focus on there. So definitely not playing my best throughout this war. So as we saw there, I ate that level 1 from Tiger. These fights can become a bit sketchy, but obviously Tiger is Mystic. Human Torch does what Human Torch does. Eventually, next fight is going to be against this Weapon X with Masochism, and I'm going to be bringing in Warlock here. I probably could have quite easily brought in Quake as well, but I'm just gonna go with a bigger, beefier dude once more. And again, fair warning, I will not play to the best of my abilities throughout the entire thing. But also, there was one very good thing that came from me just doing all my fights the following morning, because I can do both my section 1 and section 2 fights pretty much in one go, and then I will have one mini boss fight to which I will kind of reboost a bit, but I will not like boost fully for it. But yeah, so the plan here is very simple. Just kind of like pay attention to the amount of charges that Wolverine has. At 25 charges, he goes unstoppable and unblockable. Before we get to the 25, I'm perfectly safe. So I do not want to go for my level 2, because that level 2 might push him and would push him into the 25 charge territory. But other than that, very solid, very simple fight. I will, however, make a mistake in a moment. I would have been very happy to finish the fight, but here we can see that I went for parry late. Luckily, he didn't really crit, and my health is still relatively safe. Now, he went unblockable, he went unstoppable, and I'm just going to drop my level 3 to heal up from that adrenaline a bit, to heal up from his Warlock's level 3, and I hope I could potentially finish this fight, but it doesn't happen. As we can see, he's still at 4%, and he catches me on my dash back once more. So all the health that I did try to save, basically, I lost it, and I lost even more than that. But regardless, no deaths, and that is what matters. Obviously, ASR won the previous Alliance War season, and therefore we want to defend that first place spot once more, and every death counts in these kind of situations, and I would hate to be the guy who does give up a death in the very first war of the season. Now here we're gonna have to do some healing. I actually stocked up quite heavily on Alliance Quest and Alliance War potions with gifting. I didn't trade greater gifting crystals, but I did trade a bunch of consumables that will hopefully see me through this Alliance War season, at the very least, perhaps even next one. Hopefully, we'll see how the wars go. And next fight here is Sorcerer Supreme, and Sorcerer Supreme will be relatively simple, straightforward fight, especially there is no stubborn to worry about, so I can dex should I choose to, but for most part I actually don't want to do that, because in case he has Mystic Dispersion active, and also because I just want to get my smolders built up. Here you can see that 12 hits, she's already at like 57% health, and those incinerates are dealing a nice chunk of damage. I'm going for my level 2, and here was one big mistake, because I tried to go for my heavy attack, as I often do that, but I completely forgot about Limber Master in the Alliance War, and I ate a couple of hits in my face again. As I said, every single one of these war fights pretty much have some sort of error, but it's not too bad, because in the course of these fights I was actually kind of like waking up a bit more proper, and I felt a bit more comfortable going in these fights. So next up is going to be Sabertooth, and obviously Sabertooth with Warlock, not really all that much to worry about. Warlock has class advantage. I'm going to be constantly degenning and power draining the guy, because he's going to be constantly trying to heal up. And yeah, buffet can be pretty much ignored as well, starting the moment I get infection on, and it should be very simple textbook fight here against the B-Manny's Sabertooth. And I'm just going to drop a couple of heavy attacks, because why not? Those bleeds deal nice chunk of damage. So I'm going to go for my level 2, and that level 2 pretty much put the lights out of that Sabertooth. He doesn't have all that much health left. Another combo and the fight is over. So this one was very straightforward. And I did all of these fights, as I said, very early in the morning, all in the same go. And then for my last mini boss fight of the war, I'm going to be going up against Doom on Rage Node. And yeah, I'm just going to bring in Quake. So I'm going to apply some medium level boosts. It's not heavy boosting. It's basically all the medium or smaller size boosts. And I'm going to go deal with that big Dr. Doom. Now, obviously, the upside here against this Dr. Doom is the fact that stubborn isn't a problem, so I can just Quake all day long without too much to worry about. It will take a while, because even though Quake's concussion prevent those fury buffs from activating when I'm striking the opponents, however, you still can't get past that 2.5% damage cap. So thankfully, though, because I have class advantage and all that other good stuff, I do manage to deal some damage whilst just regularly charging my heavy attack. But you can see that I cannot get past the 2.5% damage cap. You can see that every time Aftershock kicks in, he's going down in increments of basically 2.5% at most. And yeah, this is going to be very simple, very straightforward fight. It is worth mentioning that this Alliance War was extremely close and quite stressful up until the very last minute. Obviously, as I said at the start, because this was over Christmas, both teams had a lot of stuff and personal duties and family and all of that stuff to tend to, and the game definitely wasn't really a priority. Nobody wants to die, but we all have lives and we all have families or friends. And yeah, neither alliance, I believe, performed their best. However, at this point in the war, For Loki had pretty much finished exploring everything, and ASR still had about 10-15 fights to go, and we had like a 2-death lead, as in like we basically had to clear last 10-15 nodes without dying, or without dying more than once, because had we died twice, it would have been a tie. And again, we all know it's Christmas war and all that, but obviously we do want to win, so the stress levels was already quite a bit elevated for the very first war of the season. But we can see that the Doom goes down, and that is my last actual fight of this season. So as I mentioned, there are basically the results of both alliances. We finished it with 8 deaths, which isn't perfect, but it was good enough to get us a win for this. So as before, I will try and upload every single Alliance War of this season. Hopefully they will be a bit more eventful and the gameplay is going to be a bit nicer and a bit more proper without some sloppy mistakes. I haven't yet decided whether I will keep track of offensive champions. I did take the screenshots of all the champions used in this war, but I'm not entirely sure if I will upload and count, because it does take quite a bit of time. And yeah, other than that, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video, and if you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about